BMW, bitch. Today, we're going to introduce the next project on this channel. This is my brand new, back in 2000, BMW 528i with a 5-speed manual. Let's get to it. That's no moon you're looking at. That's the hood to this car. So we're going to give you a little backstory. This is a two-owner from 2000. This car was originally a corporate lease up until about 2004. After that, it was a private owner from 2004 all the way up to 2023. As you can tell by the front end of this car, it was a highway commuter. Tons and tons of rock chips. This thing has been just sprayed throughout its whole life. But this I can deal with. Everything I cared about this car is what's underneath. So like I said before, or maybe I mentioned it, I don't know. This is a 528i, so this has the 2.8 liter straight six. It's the M52B28, mated to a ZF 5-speed transmission. That's what I really cared about. This car, it was well taken care of. It was always fixed at the dealer, any sort of problems. But one thing you might notice, it does have the typical BMW leaks to it. I'm pretty sure the oil pan is leaking. The valve cover gasket has been addressed. The cooling system has been addressed. But I'm probably gonna go over it again because, why not? It's all plastic, it might be brittle, who knows? But let's go ahead and take a look under the hood of this bad boy. And this is what kind of sold me on it. If you kind of take a look, this thing is suspiciously clean, to the point where I kind of thought someone just power washed it and made it look presentable to make it sellable. But I've put over 1,000 miles on this car so far, and the top end is just in really good condition. As you go down in the engine, that's where you kind of start seeing the typical BMW problems. The oil filter is right here up front, and there's a little gasket between the actual engine and this filter. That's starting to leak. That's a very known problem. The gasket gets old and hard and it starts shrinking. So I know there's a problem there. Like I said, the oil pan gasket is definitely leaking. And I might have a leak in the transmission. I don't know. It's just the whole underside is just very wet. So the reason why I picked up this car, after we got the IS300, it kind of gave me the itch. I haven't had a sports car in a while. The last car I had was the 350Z. And this idea of getting an early 2000s sport luxury sedan was just really, I was feeling it. And originally I was looking for an E36, the 3 series of this timeline, like a late 90s car. But unfortunately, it looks like the drift tax is starting to get a hold of that car. You find examples that are in rough shape, high miles, and they're starting to push $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000. And I don't know, cars are getting too expensive and I just was not feeling it. I kind of felt defeated at that point. There was just nothing on my radar unless I wanted to buy a GR86 if I wanted a brand new car, or get a FRS if I wanted an older one. Even those are going up in price. So every now and then I was just looking online and putting in manual BMWs. I figured maybe one would pop up, and then this thing appeared. And I kind of saw it. I've never really looked into the 5 Series. This is an E39 chassis. And the more I got looking into it, the more I kind of got excited. It's a bigger car than the E36, and it's a lot heavier. I don't know if it's a lot, but it is heavier, mass. But it has the same engine. And this is the dual manos version, so it's dual variable valve timing, Still has a manual transmission, rear-wheel drive, of course. And as I started looking into this car, I started noticing, this is still a ultimate driving machine BMW. It has front and rear aluminum subframes. The entire suspension front and rear is aluminum. That's how they kept the weight down on this car. And it's still a perfect 50-50 weight distribution. So I was like, I can't not get this car. And it was such a good price. It looks like people haven't really discovered these yet, or if they have, people aren't really feeling it because of the size. But to me, this was absolutely perfect. I'm not building this car to be a drift missile. It's just going to be a fun daily to take to work and then carve down the canyons on the weekends. One reason why this car was its price, I will just say it was under $5,000, is the mileage. This thing, with it being such a heavy commuter, is pushing 220,000 miles on the odometer. And I know to some people that would probably make you run away from it, but the more I drive it, the more I realize this is still back when BMW cared about what they made. This is a mechanical car. It's not just completely packed with technology and touchscreens. And I could not be happier with this purchase. Let's put this little monster to bed. Let's tuck her in real nice. Let's see what's going on inside. So was this a better purchase than an E36? I don't know, let me know. But that's not important. What is important is this car. This is a 5 Series with a manual, with the M Sport package. Just shy of a 530i or an M5. I think this car is pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up this bad boy. And let's take a look inside. Look at these seats. Check this out. Can't do that in your mom's Corolla, can you? Dang. We got nice wood grain interior. This car was cooking, so the wood is a little cracked here and there, but I still think for its age, she's doing all right. It's got a full black interior. All the leather is in pretty much perfect condition. Maybe aside from the dye getting worn out, but there's no cracks. There's no stress. All the power accessories work. The steering wheel works. Back when they made this car, they were still focused on this being like a driver's car. You can't take your family around in this. You're a driver. So that means there's no center console. Just move this closer so you have better feel with the shifting. This is the first 5 Series that has cup holders in it. They were broken, so I went ahead and got these replaced. So these can hold your favorite little drink. So no fast food for this car. We're better than that. All of these things, the climate control, the stereo, they're leaned towards the driver, which is, I don't know. I think those are all really cool touches. This kind of lets you know that BMW used to kind of stand for something. It was, I feel in control. This is my machine and everyone else is just here. They just have to deal with it. This little stock on this side, I don't know if you can pick it up on camera, but it has this little, here, let me just take the wheel. So it has this little P right there. And what you can do is you pull this towards you and it tells the slow people in front of you to get out of the way. You're important, you got stuff to do. I don't think there's any other function for this. I think it just pulls towards you, that's it. You don't need to do anything else. Everyone else will understand. This is the M package, like I said, so it has a much cooler steering wheel. The original ones are a 4-spoke. This is the original 3-spoke wheel. It kind of has a bigger airbag, but I like it. It's got this, lets people know you're cool. It's got the 3 pedals, headlights, fog lights. It's kind of like turning on a jet. At least that's what I tell myself. It makes me feel better. 5-speed. She's a little sloppy. That's probably something I'm gonna have to address. You know what gear you're in, but you don't. You can kind of just, it's like kind of a suggestion. You just kind of get out of my way to get out of my way to I'm better than you to hey, get out of the way. It's easy. Those are just there. Not a big deal. And in case you're a smoker, that's a little bit more important than drinks. There's like 3 ashtrays in this car, so, drinks bad, smoking good. And there's a little coin holder. Has all these little coins, so when you're on your way from business meeting to business meeting, you see someone a little less fortunate from you, cha 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 cha, bam, easy access. big deal. So yeah, this car, it's cool. It has, you know, like I said, 220-ish thousand miles on it. It's probably the same size as an F chassis 3 Series, but people have compared this to the new Civic, that the interior space is almost the same. So I don't know. I think people are sleeping on this car. They think 3 Series, 3 Series, 3 Series, but cars have gotten so big that this thing is tiny. I feel tiny in traffic. It's not what it used to be. You know, this is definitely something to keep an eye out on. The interior is much higher quality than the E36. Engine's the same. All I can say is I am not disappointed. I thought I wanted an E36 M3 if I could, but this 528 has made me fall back in love with the sports sedan. I actually need these. Lower pan gaskets aren't cheap. All right. So something that makes this M Sport a very special car, to me at least, are these wheels. These are factory option 2-piece BBS wheels. Mwah! I cannot get enough of these wheels. These will be staying with this car for as long as I own it. And speaking of M Tech, M Sport, M whatever, the life, this also comes with some special Sachs dampeners and some thicker iBosch sway bars. So it's got a little bit more handling characteristics. It's got a decent factory fitment, and man, silver on silver just looks fantastic to me. Fabulous. So the only thing that I'd be giving this car a big ol' on is that it's the pre-facelift. This thing was maybe 6 months away from its glow up. So as you notice, it's got amber tail lights. It's got this black trim, which I actually really like. It kind of makes the car look like a classic. It's got these amber side turbines. And it's got an amber and non-halo front lights. Boo! They are xenon and leveling, but they don't have the little halos. How are people supposed to know I'm mad at them if I don't got the halo? So that'll probably be something I address. And since this bumper is also kind of, you know, I might just go what everyone else does and just get the M Sport bumper for it too. But that's kind of the only critique I would give the exterior of this car. $46,500 back in 2000. I got this car 90% off today. Now you tell me, is this car not 90% car anymore? Like, come on. But the other thing that I think someone definitely wasted money on is right there, $1,050. Boo! It has a sunroof. I guess nobody's perfect. I much prefer the slick tops, but it is what it is. So now we wanted to take you all behind the wheel of this 528 with 220 plus thousand miles on it. And all I have to say is this is what sold me on this car. Like most people, you look at, you know, this thing is from 2000. It's 23, almost 24 years old with almost the distance to the moon on it. That would scare away 99% of people. They think old BMW, high miles, ain't gonna happen. But this car drives so smooth and so true that I could not, and I still to this day cannot get enough of driving this. It doesn't have gobs of power, but with it being a straight six, it has enough torque to keep you kind of sunk in the seat, and it lets you use the whole thing. I can redline this car in every gear and be going the speed limit. This is like a luxurious Miata. It has a full aluminum suspension, front and rear, subframes and all. This thing handles like an absolute dream. And just to give you all a bit of a backstory, this isn't my first BMW. Before this car, I did own a 2016 340i with the B58 and the 6-speed manual in it. And that car was fantastic. The B58 is an amazing engine. It had torque and power forever. But my biggest problem with that car is I'd be in second gear. By the time I hit redline, I was well over the speed limit. And after that, you know, I couldn't enjoy any more of the car unless I'm already going triple digits on a normal street like this. It was great, but I couldn't drive the whole car. You know, I was driving a fast car slow, and that's just no fun. So now that I have the opposite, this car is just so much fun to drive. I want to drive it any time of the day. And I was kind of worried when I saw that this car had about a 990 horsepower, but so far I am very impressed by it. It gets me anywhere I want to go. I'm never feel sluggish or stuck on the freeway. It has enough power to get out of its own way, and at the same time it is dead silent in this car. It is a highway, just miles eating machine, and I cannot get enough of it. So for 220,000 miles, I can't complain. This car is everything I wanted, and I had no clue that I even cared about an E39 until today. So with that, I think it's probably a good idea to let you all know what my plans are for this car. It's nothing wild. It's not going to be anything like the IS300. We are in the middle of trying to get that car, I would say, up to the level of this car to get started on modifications. I've done a small walkthrough of it. I've had it on jack stands, and I don't think the suspension on this car has been touched since the new millennium. It is bone stock, and it's starting to feel a little bit worn out. So my biggest plans right now is for under the hood. I'm going to kind of start from the top of the engine and work my way down. So I want to make sure that all that is in new condition, new shape, work on all the hoses, cooling hoses, vacuum hoses, and then after that, tackle suspension. I want to work on this transmission a little bit. It's a little sloppy, but I mean, that's kind of to be expected with a car of this many miles that I'm sure is running on original parts. And then after that, there's not too much in store. I want to restore the drivetrain of this car, and once I feel like that's completely taken care of, I think I might want to add just a little bit of power to this. With us being in the Southwest, we are a mile above sea level, and you can kind of feel it. While I love the way this car performs, I think another 50 or so, 80 horsepower will just wake this car up and make it the perfect everyday car, from daily driving to spirited driving in the canyons. So I might be looking at getting a supercharger kit for this.
It's nothing wild.
But after that, that's it. I have no plans for the interiors. I'm keeping the wheels true to this car, and I'm just gonna enjoy it. I hope to get another 220,000 miles out of this thing. This is a new chassis for me. You know, if there's anyone who has experience with E39s, I would love to hear other people's projects with this car and just their experiences with it. So just let us know down below, and I will try to keep this car on the road and in good condition. Anything you'd like to add, Art?
I'm excited to just kind of compare the IS to this car. The IS is supposed to be, you know, analogous to the 3 Series, but with the drift tax and everything that, you know, that you mentioned earlier. Like this, I think this is a better comparison for what you can get early 2000s sedan, you know, sports sedans. So, you know, we hope to have some like awesome comparison videos for you guys, and just, you know, have a lot of fun, do some cool guy car stuff together. So
Cool guy car stuff.
yeah. So yeah, please let us know. You know, like, yeah, Justin, you know, he keeps it classy, keeps it OEM, but if you guys got stuff you want to see, like, please let us know. You know, tell us what's going on. We appreciate all the feedback we've gotten so far. You guys have been amazing, and yeah, we're just excited to keep making content for you guys. So yeah, so we'll catch you in the next video, I think.
Bye.